Today we want to reflect on the resilience of Jesus against temptation. When we are tempted ourselves, what is our response? Sometimes we are not only tempted, we go to look for temptations ourselves. Like we run into areas of temptation. I don't know whether it is to test our strength, to see how strong we are, or maybe we don't just know that we are running into a danger zone. Jesus goes to the desert to pray. That is after his baptism. So he goes into the desert to pray. And all this is part of his preparation for the ministry after. And while he's in that desert, he feels hungry because he is also fasting as he is praying. So he feels hungry, and the devil takes advantage of that crisis. Like Jesus finds himself in a moment of crisis, and the devil just comes in to offer a solution, or to seem to be offering a solution. And that is what happens also to us. That when you find yourself in a moment of want, a moment of lacking, a moment of crisis, the devil comes in to try and offer what seems to be a solution. And it seems attractive. It seems nice. It seems this is going to work. This should work. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I was looking for. But then it is just a temptation to drag you into the dungeon of sin. Jesus does not fall into the trap of the devil. He does not succumb to that trick. He challenges, he actually faces the devil head on. He doesn't even run away from the devil. He challenges him that man does not live by bread alone, that you shall worship only one God. He takes him on. Are we able to take on the devil? What is our response when the devil comes to us with all these attractive tricks? You know that temptation in itself is neither good nor bad. It is just temptation. But then our response to it is what gives it morality. The devil will come, will bring whatever he brings. If you respond positively to whatever the devil is showing you or is giving you, that's what gives it morality. That's where now the aspect of sin comes in. We are tempted in many ways. Left, right, center, physically, spiritually. We are tempted in so many ways. And many times we find ourselves falling into that trap because we don't want to use the strength that we carry within ourselves to resist temptation. Jesus uses the strength that he has within himself to resist the devil, to challenge the devil, to take the devil head on. He uses that strength, that inner strength, because that inner strength is greater, is mightier than what is coming from outside there. It is bigger than what is coming from the devil himself. And you and I can also use that strength in order not to fall into sin when we are tempted. So in today's readings, or particularly in today's gospel, Jesus is showing us how to respond to temptation whenever it comes, however it comes, in whatever shape and size it comes. We are not too weak to challenge temptation, to challenge the devil. We are stronger, we are bigger, we are greater. But many times we find ourselves falling because we shelve that strength that God has put in us. We put that strength on the shelves and we don't want to make use of it. So we find ourselves falling into the pit of sin. You and I recognize the fact that, or should recognize the fact that we live in a world that looks like a desert. It is a desert world. The same world in which Jesus walks to go and pray and fast, and where he is tempted. We may look at all these things that we see around, nice roads, nice buildings, nice technology and all that, but it is all a desert world, because it is in this world that we come face to face with temptation that eventually drives us into sin. But Jesus does not want us to run away from this same desert world, from this same world in which we face temptation. Jesus wants us to remain there and to transform it using the strength that we carry within ourselves. The devil is not going to appear to you with the horns and or looking like the devil. Sometimes the devil is going to appear to you looking like an angel. The devil is going to use even the person that is closest to you. The devil is going to use even the person that you don't think could do something wrong to you or could test you in any way. The devil can use your best friend. The devil can use a family member to get to you. Because he knows if he appears with the horns and looking all, like Lucifer and all that, you run away from him. He knows that you're going to run away from him. So he has to package himself nicely. He has to look beautiful. He has to look handsome to get to you, to get to me. And that is where the trick of the devil lies. And that is where we need to have the wisdom to see what looks genuine, what looks authentic, and what doesn't look authentic. That is where we need that intelligence to tell this, yes, looks beautiful, looks handsome, looks good, but there's something fishy about it. We need to have that intelligence. Maybe we can say we already have that intelligence, but we need to make use of it to be able to see that this does not look okay. There's something that is not okay about this. Sometimes we don't want to use that intelligence and we just want to flow with the current. We just want to flow with what is coming and with what is happening. And when things now begin to go sour, that's when we sit down and say, how couldn't I see this coming? How couldn't I tell that this person was just smiling at me, but then they didn't mean their smile? How naive was I not to see the devil that lay beyond all these beautiful masks? We begin to blame ourselves. We begin to feel bad about ourselves because now we find ourselves in a situation of vulnerability, a situation in which we feel we can't even redeem ourselves. Maybe we need somebody else to come and pull us out of there. But we can prevent ourselves from getting into situations like that by recognizing the devil the very first moment he appears. Jesus is hungry. He needs bread. And the devil says, hey, you are the Son of God. You have the power to turn this bread, to turn this stone into bread. Just say something, say a word or something. Do some magic. This stone is going to turn into bread and you eat. Why are you suffering? So it is a proposal that is well packaged. A proposal that can easily make you fall for it. But Jesus is able to read between the lines. Jesus is able to see the Lucifer that is beyond the beautiful mask that the devil is showing or is proposing. And he challenges that. If we develop the spirit of sin beyond what seems to be appealing to our emotions, then we'll prevent ourselves many times from falling into the pit that the devil has already dug for us at some point along the line of our life. But we don't want to make use of that strength within ourselves. We don't want to make use of that third eye which will enable us to see the devil beyond the mask. And so we succumb, we fall prey to the tricks of the devil. Today the church is inviting us to reflect on the desert world in which you and I find ourselves. But not just to reflect on the desert world, we are also invited to try and transform this desert world into a world of affluence, into a world of vegetation, if you like. Because the desert world is a sandy world, is a desert. But we don't want this world to end up just a desert. Our action towards it can transform it by, first of all, resisting the tricks of the devil, identifying temptation whenever it shows up, and then facing the devil head on. And when we demonstrate courage in that manner, we shall see that as we defeat the devil, as we challenge the devil, we are also at the same time transforming the world, our desert world, into a world where there is green, where there is vegetation, a world where there is life. Because that is what we need, a world where there is life. what is our response to temptation whenever it comes? Like we said at the beginning, sometimes temptation doesn't just come. We follow it. We literally go out to look for temptation. Let me see how strong I am. You walk into a nightclub. Yeah, I'm strong. I can't drink. Yeah? You walk right where you know that you might just be tempted. You are following temptation. I can't drink. Let me go and evangelize people in the nightclub. You go to evangelize people in the nightclub. It doesn't work. You end up being evangelized wrongly yourself. So in the end, you find yourself just like everybody else, because you went out to look for the devil and you found him. So, as we reflect on the desert world, of course, we are not being asked to run away from the desert world, but we are also not being asked to go and look for temptation. Jesus does not go to look for temptation. It finds him. So when temptation finds you, respond to it. Don't go to look for temptation, because you might not be strong enough to resist it. You might think you are strong, but maybe before you know it, you are just doing like everybody else is doing. So we pray for ourselves today, especially on this special Sunday, when we reflect on temptation, prayer, fasting, because this is what Jesus goes through in the desert. That his experience there could also be our own experience, and that in the final analysis, we don't give in to temptation, but we defeat it, in order also to transform the desert world into a world of life. Amen.